Welcome to A Course in Business Miracles. This is Heather Dominick, creator of BusinessMiracles.com and founder and leader of the highly sensitive entrepreneur movement. Join me today for some genuine practical assistance and a business-altering and life-changing experience, a business miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles, episode 24, The Power of the Re-Entry Process as a Highly Sensitive Entrepreneur. In this episode, you will learn a powerful process I typically only teach at my in-person training retreats. It's a powerful process that allows you to navigate being out in the world without being overwhelmed. Okay, so now that we have marked re-entry, let's talk about how to re-enter. So as I mentioned before, re-entry is a proactive part of scheduling time off, on, and in, which is from Foundational Principle Training number 2. And the key piece of re-entry is about knowing yourself as an HSE, which is one of the things that I talk about all the time, how important for us HSEs it is to really know ourselves, because as I had mentioned before lunch, when we are down the resistance rabbit hole, we have lost ourselves. And when we are caught in our HSE shadows, and especially when we're using a strength like empathy to work against us by being able to intuit perhaps a person or people that we're with and how they want us to be, and then chameleoning ourselves to be what they want us to be, we have lost ourselves. And when you have been doing that, year after year after year, it can become really confusing to understand who you actually are. And as part of understanding who you actually are, knowing what you actually need. Obviously, or if it isn't obvious, let me point it out. When you're in your coping mechanism, you have not only lost yourself, you have abandoned yourself. You have completely betrayed what you need for your best self, and you have given over to mere survival through the coping mechanism of pushing or hiding. So, in order to effectively re-enter, you have to really know who you are, because part of knowing who you are is knowing what you need to be able to effectively re-enter. And knowing yourself so that you can effectively re-enter allows you to be able to operate at your best as an HSE. So I mentioned some of these before our ritual, but let me just make a list for you, share a list with you, and you might have your own that you can add as well. But these are moments of re-entry that you want to begin to become conscious of. The beginning of the day, the end of the day, beginning of the week, end of the week, going into any type of public marketing experience, networking, speaking, workshops, trade shows, etc. going away for a training retreat or vacation, and coming back from a training retreat or vacation. And like I said, you might have your own that you would want to add to this list. The criteria for, do I want to add this to the list, is where are the conscious moments, or I should say the moments where I want to consciously be aware of how I am transitioning from one experience to another. Because something like going away for vacation, coming back from vacation for an 80%er, no big deal. Whatever. 1 minute you're in Orlando and the next minute you're home in Texas. What's the problem? Get on the plane, get off the plane, get in the car, go. And every step of the way for a highly sensitive is like, right? And so as we talk about in regards to using energy management as part of being able to be proactive with our energy in every part of our business, you want to take the same approach with reentry. So energy management is part of reentry, but there is so much more. And what will help you determine what you need is to engage in self-inquiry about each area of transition for yourself. So, for example, you want to ask yourself questions such like, what do I need so I can feel whole, present, grounded, attentive in my strengths? And then, what does that look like for me? So, for example, one of the things that I have come to know about myself when it comes to transitions and re-entry from big experiences away, like leading a training retreat, both to leave for a training retreat and to return home from a training retreat, I do best when I am able to leave and come home without my husband there. And probably if I said that to any other type of room, people would be like, what's wrong with you? Don't you want the most important person in your life to be the last person you see and the first person you see when you get home? No. Because I do best, especially when returning, when I can manage all of the energy and stimulation that comes up from travel, to be able to have like a quiet space where I can come in and I can put my bags down. I can look around and see what he's moved. What needs to go back into its place. Put perhaps the dirty clothes that were left on the floor in the hamper. Change the towels. Clean up the bathroom sink. That might not just be highly sensitive, that might be OCD, but that's okay. But most importantly is really to have the quiet space so that I can just literally readjust to the environment And then, most importantly, as part of that, so that I am then able to be present when I do see him. So that then I can be fully available for our reuniting, and I can be present and I can be attentive so that I can listen to him, I can hear what's been going on for him, and then I'm available for him and I'm also available for me. And when it happens any other way, it's very chaotic for me internally. It's hard for me to settle. So does it work out like that every time? No, but part of the joy of being an HSE is that you can set your own schedule. So I do the best that I can to create that. Sometimes, it just can't fully work out. And when it can't work out, then I have to prepare, or I'm best when I prepare before entering back into our home. But the ideal is if I can just have some personal space. And the same thing for when I leave, so I can just have the space to take care of what I need to take care of. And even though he always wants to be so helpful, it's kind of just more like you're in my way. I need to just kind of, can you get out? And then it's a bit more about jostling and feeling kind of unsettled versus, again, being able to be present and available to say goodbye to him and then take care of what I need to take care of to leave our home. So that's an example for those first two inquiry questions. So after what's needed and what does that look like is who can I call on for support? Who can I call on for support to help me with what I need and what that looks like? So again, going back to re-entry from a training retreat, it's not like I secretly set my return schedule for whenever Stephen's not going to be there and just, kind of on the sly sneak back in. We talk about it, and I verbalize what I need. And part of that is, so again, to communicate that I want to be able to be fully present for you. I want to be able to be fully present for us. And here's what helps me to be able to do that the best. Can I have your support of that? In addition to who can I call on for support, what do I need to put in place? What do I need to put in place? Well, again, using this example, that's an additional day. So I typically stay an additional day after a training retreat, or depending on how, my husband's schedule falls and my schedule falls. So additional investment of time, energy, resources, and fully worth it. Because any time, energy, or resources that was quote unquote saved by, just getting home as soon as possible is lost the minute I go into overwhelm, the minute that I go into overprotection, the minute that I go into people pleasing, and any other way that I start to lose myself as part of re-entry. So again, I'm more available for him, I'm more available for our relationship, and then of course, I'm more available for everything else. I'm ready to restart into the day-to-day of my business in a better and more effective way, friends, and all other day-to-day needs. So that's a start to some helpful self-inquiry questions. And my high business mentor recommendation is that you're using that as a jump start, but then getting clear about what else you might be needing for yourself. Starting with, are there other questions that will be helpful for you to ask so that you can understand more about who you are and what you need. So that rather than, unfortunately, as we hear as a team from other HSEs about why they can't be at a training retreat. So as I said earlier in the day, you can be absolutely successful in your business. You just need to do it a different way. And you absolutely can successfully travel as an HSE. You just need to do it a different way. And you absolutely can smoothly attend something like a training retreat or go on a vacation and return into your business effectively. You just need to do it a different way. And here's the real jiggy about reentry, is that you can't rely on the other people in your life to make this happen for you. It's an unreasonable expectation. And if the other people in your life are not highly sensitive. And that's a miss that we often make as highly sensitives, because we can so often intuit as well as pick up on the subtleties of a relationship, so then we can have a clear sense of what someone else needs. We expect others to be able to do the same, and then we're resentful when they don't. But it's nobody else's job to support you in being able to effectively enter or re-enter. That's your personal responsibility. And so if someone else doesn't meet your needs, that's you taking it personally. Deep breath in and let it out. Beautiful.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Course in Business Miracles. If you're ready to learn how to use your highly sensitive abilities to support you in being purposeful, profitable, and empowered rather than scattered, poor, and undervalued, take my free self-quiz to find out if you are indeed a highly sensitive entrepreneur. And if you are, along with your quiz results, you'll receive my free HSE Success Guide, which will teach you how to have your highly sensitive abilities working for you to create the results you desire in your business. Take the quiz and receive your free success guide now at www.hsequiz.com.